Okay, so some time ago, I did a poll on the YouTube community thing, and people really wanted to see a video about navigation in Spacemacs. So this video is going to focus on that. I consider these to be kind of navigation superpowers, and you'll see in a second why. Here's the basic outline, and I'm going to sort of go through this stuff with you today. The most basic form of navigation here is just going through the file system. So you press space FF for that. So space FF opens this kind of file browser thing. You can type the name of a folder and press tab, and that takes you inside the folder. You can press Alt backspace to go to the previous folder. You can also press Control H to go to the previous folder. It's just a little bit more convenient than the Alt backspace. So if I go into my work folder and then into the tinytf folder, I get this window, and I can kind of move around in it like I would inside a normal text buffer. I can just go through it, go to a folder. If I hit enter on the double dot, it takes me to the previous folder. I can go to any one of the files, hit enter on those, and it'll open the file. So this is the most basic form of finding files or projects. Now in Spacemacs, any Git repository automatically defaults to being considered a project. In addition to that, any folder that has a .projectile file in it will also be considered a project. Projects are very useful because once you've opened a project, you can press space pp, and this new box shows up to allow you to go to any of these projects. So my org files count as a project because they're tracked using Git. In addition to that, tinytf is also a Git repository, so it counts as a project, and I can sort of go back to it. And if I use space pp to go to it, I get this search window where I can search for the file that I want. So maybe I want to work on the tf.py file. So I can just type that name, and it does a fuzzy search. The first file that you see is tf.py, but then, it'll do some kind of fuzzy searching between different files and rank them in a perceived order of usefulness. So if I wanted to go to the tf.py file, I can just hit enter. It's going to do its thing and open the file. So I can also go into a different project. If I just navigate out of here and go to the mp/slam directory, and then maybe find the graph.py file. As you can see, it's fairly straightforward to then jump around between files by just searching for them. Most of the times you'll know roughly the name of the file. So if I wanted to find another file named, that has graph in the name, in this case, graphslam.py, I can go to that file as well. If you don't quite know what the structure of the project is or where the files are, you can also press space pt. Again, this is meant to work inside projects, so it'll show you the tree of your entire Git repository. What I'm showing on the left is neotree. As I understand, more recent commits to Spacemacs switch this to Treemacs by default. A lot of people like Treemacs. I'm not the biggest fan of Treemacs. I prefer neotree, and one of the reasons I prefer neotree is because by default you can navigate through the files by just pressing like sort of the back key, in this case H, to go to the top level folder, and press H again to fold it back. Press J or K to navigate up or down, normal Vim key bindings. Push the L key to open a particular folder, unfold it, etc. Space PT closes it, space PT opens it again. It's kind of treated like another window, so you can press space W and then L to go to the right one, space WH to go back to it. You can also press space 1 to go to the number 1 window. And the neotree or Treemacs window has a special place where it is the 0th window. It'll always have the number 0 attached to it. So if you just press space 0, it'll take you back to this window. So as you can see, you can sort of just go through the structure of your code, finding files this way as well. So I could go to YAGSLAM folder and open the models file. Another way for you to go to a particular file is by pressing space BB. Now what space BB does is that it shows you a list of your currently open buffers. So this is primarily going to work on files that are already open, and it's not restricted to your current project. So if I just search tf.py, it shows as an open buffer tf.py. It also shows under recent f tf.py. So if it can't find the particular buffer that you're looking for, it's going to give you another option where it's going to see if recently you opened this file. And if you did, or something that sort of has a similar name, it's going to give you that as an option. And then it also gives you an option to simply create a new buffer with that file name that you could add code to and save. Another way to jump around in a project is to search through that project for a particular string that you might be looking for. The way that's done is by pressing space /. Now space / will open this another mini buffer on the bottom. And if you look at the bottom left there, it says it's running Helm AG, Helm of course being the search engine that my Spacemacs is currently configured to use. And then it's using AG, which is a a replacement for grep. If you don't have any of this stuff installed, by default, it's going to use grep. Grep is slow, so I recommend installing Ag Silver Searcher. It is also possible for people that might use ripgrep to install that and configure that with Spacemacs, but I find Ag to be fast enough, so I just stick with Ag. So let's look at this import statement. I'm importing something called localized range scan, and it's coming from a module called YAGSLAM CBP. If I simply search for this file, this actually does not exist. In this project, this module is not named by that file. It's exported a different way. So in order to find the definition of localized range scan, what I can do is press space / and then just type localized range scan. And now it gives me a number of different options. Most of these are import statements. So I can ignore pretty much all of them. But then I get to these files that are, not Python files, they're H files, and they're referring to localized range scan, still not a definition. So I can sort of go through all of these options, trying to find where it has been defined. And there's this file called Python interface that's including localized range scan. And right here, that class is now being exported to my Python code. So I can just enter that and it'll take me to that line. I can hit Control L to center it if I need to, or hit Control L a second time to take it to the top of the editor. That's another kind of shortcut that's nice. Another way for me to do this kind of search is to press space and then star. Space star works basically the same way as space /, except it'll take whatever word or symbol you have under your cursor at the time and automatically fill the pattern with that, as you can see here. And then I can pick one of these instances, and if it's of interest to me, I can just go to that. I covered this technique in more detail in my refactoring video, and I highly recommend you check that out, because once you have sort of all these search results available, there's a number of really cool things that you can do with them and sort of edit all of this data in one file and then have the results propagate to wherever they need to go. So I highly recommend checking that out. All right, so far we've covered how to go to files sort of normally, how to switch between projects, how to find files inside a project, and then how to find content inside a project by searching for a particular string. We've also seen how you can use the tree view of your project to sort of explore the project and find the files, as well as look at recent buffers and the currently open buffers, sort of fuzzy searching through them to find the file that you're looking for. So one thing that I haven't covered so far is following symbols in your code to their definition. This is something that doesn't always necessarily work exactly as planned. It comes down a lot to how the editor is set up and how a particular environment is set up. It might work better in a Rust or C++ project as opposed to a Python project, just because the prior two are statically typed and relationship between symbols is a lot more easier to infer, but it'll do its best job. So let's look at an example of that. So the tf_tree class refers to another class called transform. And if I want to find where it's defined, I could do what I was doing before and press space * and then type class, and it gives me two options, and one of those options is to find the transform class. I can also do "gg", and sometimes it'll require some further piece of information about where to look. So in this case, it's just asking you to pick a route to do its search. If we go ahead and pick that route and hit enter, it takes me now to the definition of the class transform. You can also do this on functions. So I could go to this function fromDict and then press "gg". And in this case, now it's giving me three different options, primarily because there's three functions called fromDict that are defined in this file. When this kind of ambiguity comes up, or in other cases as well, another thing that you can do to sort of search through a particular file is press space JI. Space JI is going to give you a way to search through the functions in a particular file. And one nice thing is that it will also mention the class that they're under on the left. So now if I'm looking for fromDict, I can see that tf_tree, tf_node, and transform, all three of them have fromDict defined. And since I was looking for this function for transform, I can just go and hit enter on that. And now I found the function that I was looking for. So once again, space JI gives you a way to search through functions. And you can also look at the particular classes that they're attached to. I believe you can also search for the classes themselves. And then, like if you wanted to go to the constructor for that particular class, you can select that and go to that. I find this very helpful in my workflow, especially because Python projects have a tendency to have a lot of code in a single file, because people want to take advantage of the namespacing that they get automatically from that. And then jumping from function to function is very handy in that kind of situation. Okay, so since we're kind of already talking about stuff to do inside a file, one of the things that I want to bring attention to is that Spacemax is ultimately just Emacs with Vim key bindings. And that already is a big superpower in terms of navigation because Vim key bindings in general make it very convenient for you to jump around in a file. So I'll highlight a few of those techniques. One of the ones being just pressing GG to go to the top of the file, pressing Shift G to go to the bottom of the file, and pressing some number of a line and pressing capital G or Shift G to go to that particular line. Of course, in addition to that, you can do any number of other things that you can do inside Vim, like pressing 10 and then pressing J to go down 10 lines, 100 and K to go up 100 lines, all sorts of stuff that you can do in Vim, pressing W to skip through words and stuff like that. Another way that you can move through code in a particular file, and this is something that I end up using a lot simply because it's contained fuzzy search. So if you hit space SS, it opens this window called Helm Swoop. And what Helm Swoop is just a way for you to fuzzy search through a particular file. And it sort of narrows down the answer as you get closer and closer to what you're looking for. So consider for a second that I don't know what the method for toDict is called. And I might just search to space dict. It's still gonna match it to the lines where these methods exist. And I can use Control J and Control K to go up and down from this list to find the bit of code that I'm looking for and then hit enter to get there. If I don't find what I'm looking for, or if I don't think that the particular line that I was looking for is here, it might be in a different file or something like that, I can just hit escape and it'll take me back to wherever I was before. As you can see, this can be very, very handy because I don't have to know exactly what the code looks like. I just need to know things that were used near that code. So like if a line contained the word dot and matrix, that's all I need to know. I don't need to know that in this line it's, dot and then open brace and stuff like that. So this kind of fuzzy searching really allows you to fly through a file very, very quickly and get to the bit of code that you're looking for. The final bit of navigation that I'm going to cover is my most used function out of a package called AV. Now, AV is supposed to be a very rich package, and I recommend people look into how to do various things with it. But really, the only thing I end up using through AV is space JJ. And what this does is it'll gray out your screen, and then you can type some word that you might be looking for. Like I'm looking for the word node. And then what it's going to do is show you these letters. So this one says A, this one says S. Sometimes it's a 2-letter combination. Basically, this allows me to search to a particular line and a particular column in that line by hitting this shortcut. So if I wanted to go to nodes like here, self.nodes, all I have to do is press LA and my cursor ends up there. So this is a useful way for you to very quickly jump to a part of the file that is visible to you without having to press K a bunch of times to get there and press B or W to get to where you're looking for. Like I mentioned before, Spacemax is just Emacs with Vim key bindings. So oftentimes what I'll end up doing is pressing F and then let's say N if I wanted to find N, but this is problematic because then I have to press semicolon to get to the next N and then the next N and then the next N until I get to the N that I'm looking for. The other way to do this also is to search. So I can just say transform and then find the particular search result. But all of these I feel end up being fairly clunky, whereas all you have to do is just press space JJ, and then if I'm looking for parent, just type in parent, and then pick the particular parent option that you want. So if I wanted to go to parent on line 36, all I have to do is press LA, and my cursor ends up there, and I can just continue editing. In practice, I still end up using just F and searching through a file, sometimes more often than this. But when I'm sort of just working on a small chunk of code where I have to jump back and forth between different words a lot, I'll use this more so than the other options. So this is all I got for this video on Spacemax navigation superpowers. I believe that if you master this set of tools, you will become very, very fast and very, very efficient in navigating your code. And the way I look at it, reading through code and navigating it is like 50% of the job as a programmer. And so the faster you can do that, the faster you can sort of make your way through solving a problem. So a very small update about the channel. I know that I haven't uploaded in a while. This video came out of me making a poll some time ago after I hit 1,000 subscribers. Thank you very much for that. And so after I hit 1,000 subscribers, I made this poll and I asked people what they wanted to see. And this was the highest rated thing that they wanted to see out of the channel. So I went ahead and made this video. But, that poll was also like 2 months ago. So I understand if some people might be a little bit concerned about sort of the direction of the channel. I want to continue making videos. One of the things that you might have noticed about this video is that it is lower quality than some of my other videos. And the reason for that is because I ended up spending a lot less time. I put a lot less time into this video than I did all those other videos. And there's a number of reasons, a number of excuses that I could make about that, but ultimately it's just life is happening outside of the channel, and so it's difficult for me to dedicate more time to recording and editing and all the stuff that I used to do. I'm still going to do that as much as possible, but it's very likely that the overall quality of the video, in terms of the recording, the sound, the editing, the extreme level of editing that I used to do in order to make the video as short as possible without making it rushed, some of that is not going to be there anymore. So some of these videos might be longer, rambly, stuff like that. However, what that'll allow me to do is continue making videos, which I think is more important than making videos that are extremely high quality, because there's a lot of information that I can share with people and help people with that either I can share in a slightly lower quality video or not share at all. And I prefer sharing it in a slightly lower quality video. If you have any thoughts on that, any comments on the format or the overall quality, or what you think I could do better, please say so below. And I promise I'll continue making more videos at a better pace than I have been in the past. So thank you very much for watching, and thank you very much if you subscribe to the channel. And if you haven't, consider subscribing. Bye.